Today, because of the economic contraction, all are having problems on their demand side. So when they have problems on the demand side, when the consumption is coming down and they build capacities to meet that demand, is to see how can rationalize cost. So we have teams that help clients in trying to see how they can rationalize cost in terms of when they build capacity to adjust supply chains. At the lowest cost, you get your supply chain organized, and then also to make sure supply chain does not get disrupted. So if you look at the EY motto is building a better working world. That is the motto under which EY works. When you say building a better working world, it looks at our clients, what we stand for as an organization, and our employees. So as far as our clients are concerned, we need to make sure that we provide service to our clients that is creating a sustainable business environment for them to operate in. To get into more details, if you said, for example, assurance is the most, all service lines are very demanding. When the world becomes complex and the business transactions becomes complex, so does the profession. And in delivering so, we have to make sure that we abide by our core principles of making sure what we do is legal, ethical, independent, required of a profession, so that our clients and all the stakeholders can rely on what Ernst & Young is saying in terms of our advice. When it comes to our people, which is the core of our whole ecosystem, is that our people must be diverse. We have a lot of emphasis on integrity, diversity, creativity. So all those are some sub-pillars of our people pillar. So that we make sure that the people that we have will have the same core values that Ernst & Young has. So that and applied uniformly across the globe in all firms around the world. We made to make sure when we have our offices, we create the space for the employees, we create the space that will recognize the diversity, the integrity, and the culture of the firm. All our employees are bound by EY rules and ethics. For example, if you say we have strong independence rules, make sure that our employees abide by the independent rules in reporting on the financial statements of our clients, executing transactions. Then we also have very clear principles on diversity and inclusiveness. We don't discriminate on any grounds. We only discriminate on performance. And that has been one of the success stories of Ernst & Young, in my view, globally and in Sri Lanka particularly. Also, with regard to client service, we don't look at short-term gains of our clients. We look at the medium-term and the long-term sustainability of service provided to our clients. And another area that we are also very concerned is creating what is called environmentally sustainable solutions wherever possible. So ESG is one of the pillars of EY, and we make sure that we also are responsible to not only to our clients and to our people, but to society at large. So we have to be conscious of the environment, sustainability, good governance. So those are the other areas that we are very, very concerned in terms of values and our drive delivering our service to our clients, what we keep in mind. So to answer your question, what are the value principles for Ernst & Young? It's all built on building a better working world. So under that, we have the quality of service, people first, environment, sustainability, governance. Those are all sub-pillars of our main motto that we abide by. So that's the biggest challenge that we are facing currently. To retain existing talent. I think not only us, most people in Sri Lanka, most companies in different fields are facing the same challenges that we do face. So because of skill migration that is taking place and shortage of labor in other markets, especially accounting profession, because I think there's a lot of demand for accountants and accounting profession, especially in the UK, Ireland, in that part of the world. Not so much in Australia, but in those countries. So because there's a lot of our experience, audit staff, assurance staff are getting attracted, consulting people are going overseas. And we are, over the last 1 year, we have lost a fair amount of our senior staff. So that's the real challenge that we're facing, and we have no choice but to develop the next layer. So we also have, actually, EY started the first program with the Sri Jadapura University, I would say about 20 years ago, of trying to link up the Jadapura graduates with Ernst & Young. And we had a scholarship program for them where they could come and intern themselves at EY. Others have followed, but we were the pioneers who started that. So we are not going to universities, we are talking to private and government universities and state universities, trying to see how we can absorb undergrads into the system so that we capture that early age and give them a training that they require. Also, another model we are trying, we found, is after COVID-19, a lot of young graduates, undergraduates who are working in around Colombo moved to their houses into their hometowns in the provinces. And there's a reluctancy of coming back to Colombo because of cost of living, and they're used to that lifestyle. So we're trying to see if we can use our satellite offices in Kandy and Kurunegala and Matara and Galle Hambantota to reach out to those people so that they can report to those offices and they can work from there. So it costs less for them to work because they can travel from their homes, which are in the provinces. And we try to do as much as possible work that we can do remotely through them. So trying to reach at the lower levels to see whether we can, problem we are facing in terms of talent. So it's two front. One is attracting talent, other one is retaining talent. So that's a huge issue. And on a daily basis, we are trying to see how we can come up with that. Other thing is to introduce IT. So we are doing that as well. We are introducing a lot of IT in order to see certain functions that require 10 people can be done one person now. But that also is a huge infrastructure cost. So we are trying a combination of things. And this is something that being faced not only by us, countries around the world, 5 countries all face the same issue. Then because of these BP operations that are very popular in Sri Lanka is good. A lot of people are getting attracted towards those things as well. It's a challenge on a daily basis, to be frank, to balance cost, to balance efficient service to our clients, in trying to balance retention. It's a combination. So it's a daily struggle, actually, frankly. Every day in the economy there is new problems coming up, right? So we have to keep facing them and overcoming them somehow. The problem faced by the economy today is multi-pronged, because we have the financial crisis that we faced and we are just coming out of it, and it takes a long time to come out of it in my view to come back to normality. So in challenging times, different industries have different problems. I think today, because of the economic contraction, all are having problems on their demand side. So when there are problems on the demand side, when the consumption is coming down and they build capacities to meet that demand, is how we can rationalize cost. So we have teams that help clients in trying to see how they can rationalize cost in terms of when they build capacity, to adjust supply chains and to help your supply chain to make sure that you have at the lowest cost you get your supply chain organized, and then also to make sure supply chain does not get disrupted. But at the same time, you have to make sure that the employees are also looked after. So value that EY brings to the table to our clients is trying to see how they can reduce costs, or rather reduce the working capital challenge rather. Trying to see how they can manage the existing resources, and then also trying to see how the EY network can be made use of, to find joint venture partners, to find markets, to find buyers. We have in the past used EY network in a large way, where most Sri Lankan companies faced issues about when the dollar shortages, import crisis, forex crisis came. They found Sri Lanka very vulnerable in terms of operating international markets. So EY helped quite a lot of local conglomerates to see how they can tap into foreign resources, how they can reorganize their structures in a way that if a future event of that nature happens, how they can minimize the impact of being exposed to Sri Lanka. So a lot of structures we put in place, a lot of advice we give in that sphere. To that extent, we help a lot of our clients to see how they can sort of repurpose, reorganize, reorient their businesses. And then the biggest challenge is actually at the SME levels. And there the biggest problem is surviving the day and trying to see how they can come out of the interest rate crisis they're facing. So those are challenges that we can't give an overnight solution, but we have tried to work with them and trying to see how they can sort of come out of the crisis, to hold hand as much as we can. So we have found solutions, given advice, held their hand in different ways this whole crisis time. And the most important thing was to show that a multinational firm is there for us, for them rather. So I think we helped them quite a lot in different ways. I mean, Ernst & Young per se, I mean, we have policy advocacy. But in Sri Lanka, if you take, we have partners who are specialized in different areas. Now, for instance, if you look at myself, I was working very closely with government because more the Ceylon chamber role that I play, plus EY, in trying to see how the government could navigate itself in the last 2 years. And we were to play that role in trying to carry the message to the people, how the reform process has to be carried out, how people have to be patient. We have downsized certain institutions on taxation, on the electricity tariffs, all those things. We carried out extensive programs using local media. I myself participated in several discussions. I won't know how many, then we made political parties. So that way we were able to contribute largely to policy making, to reform, get people accepted, etc. Then on the other side, there are my colleagues who were really helping when currently the government in the net debt negotiation, because you also have a role as an accountant to play when it comes to local debt restructuring and how it affects the company's balance sheets. So to that, in those areas, largely financial services sector, we even now today, as of today, we play a fairly significant role in trying to advise clients how the balance sheets get affected, how to restructure the balance sheets, and how to mitigate the risks. And we're also assisting government and central bank in giving advice in terms of the impact of DDR, if at all it can have, and how we can minimize the impact through accounting, etc. So I think different people play different roles in policy advocacy, in policy formulation, in reforms, in today's context. But over this, if you take, EY has contributed a lot to accounting standards. I think today's economies and reform and taxation becomes priority, but where country was normal, the other issue that we had, EY has contributed a lot through our legacy partners in developing accounting standards to the agriculture sector, to the plantation sector. And we played a significant role in the privatization program of the government in 2000s with the Echelon, with the reorganization of the Central Transport Board, the privatization of the plantation industry, public enterprise reforms in 2001. So EY had played a significant role in all those activities of the government and private sector in transforming the economy in whatever way it can. EY has been in Sri Lanka for over 110 years now. Name of Ernst & Young, it had different names used over the last 110 years. So we started our practice locally, started as far back as 1905. When I joined EY almost 40 years ago, 93, it was called Ernst & Winnie. Before that, it was called Token Young, and so many names before that. But the one practice that continued from the British to Sri Lankan days. And then we merged with Arthur Young internationally and became Ernst & Young in the late 80s. So that is the evolution of the firm, to show that we have a great history, a lot of tradition, and a legacy. To become one of the largest firms in the country today, serving a wide clientele of clients from multinationals to local conglomerates to SMEs, through our branch network around the country. We probably have the largest branch network in Sri Lanka of the accounting firms. So the biggest strength that we have, to answer the question, is our people and our partnership. The strength of our people is the one that brings the quality of service to our clients. First, we started our partnership. We have almost 25 partners in the firm now. We have 4 different service lines that we have in Sri Lanka: assurance, tax, consulting, and business advisory. Those are the 4 key pillars we have, and the service we provide to our clients through those 4 pillars. And so the strength we have is that the partnership that we have is very solid. It's a very united partnership. It has absolutely amount of skill in diverse fields, from assurance, from tax, to business consulting, to transaction advisory. And we bring all that skill with over 1,000 employees we have, with that knowledge and skill that we have amongst all our people, to creating a sustainable service, quality of service to our clients. Now, in addition to that, we have the EY Global Association. EY is a global firm, and we have offices around 170 countries and a staff of over 400,000 people working around the world. So we bring that talent pool, we bring the skills, we bring the knowledge, the experience of all the countries in the world, because once you are a member firm of Ernst & Young, we can draw in resources from wherever, which part of the world we want to serve our clients. If we have a local client that requires a particular kind of service, we can bring the expertise from wherever we want in the world, and they'll come and help. That's the idea of EY. So it's a truly multinational, truly global, and also indigenous firm. So we have the resources and the pools, and the strength, the skills of our global firm to bring to any solution that our client in Sri Lanka wants. So we have the strength of the global firm, the strength of the local practice, of our people, of our partnership, and that is a unique skill we have in bringing solutions to our clients in assurance, tax, consulting, transit advisory, in order to create a sustainable business environment for our clients. So actually, ESG has become very important because, as all of us know, we consume every day, and if you consume in the same fashion we are doing today, there's nothing left for generations to come. So we have to make the world a safe, environmentally sound place for everyone to live. So that's the whole purpose of ESG. So from a Sri Lankan perspective, things are the environmental considerations or the priority for environmental issues. I mean, there's a lot of commitment by the corporate sector to make sure that whatever that we do, we have to make sure harm the environment, and we have to be compliant with international standards of using certain resources. But I would say the ESG reporting is as developed as the OECD Charter of the Western world, right, which places more emphasis on environmental compliance systems and procedures in organizations. Sri Lanka is yet getting into it. But having said that, there's a lot of funding coming from World Bank and other multilateral institutions to make sure Sri Lanka is also falling in line with environmental issues. So if you look at today, a person supplying to Western markets have to make sure that they also comply with environmental regulations in your own country. So we have environmental certifications done on behalf of global buyers and global industries to make sure Sri Lankan companies who are supplied to those people are environmentally compliant. So ESG compliance is a big area, it's catching up fast in Sri Lanka because, for example, there are various awards given for corporate reporting, corporate planning. Echelon Chamber of Commerce, where I belong to, where I have spent a fair amount of my time. Also, we have awards based on best corporate citizen. So in that, we take into account what kind of contribution people make to environment to make it a sound place, and how compliant people are on environment and social and sustainability and governance. So there is increasing concentration, increasing priority given by Sri Lankan corporates also to environment. But I must say it's not as developed as what it was in the developed country, the OECD, but Sri Lanka is also fast getting there and concentrate, because we have remember we have a very small country, and we can't be a country that we have to protect our environment if 22 billion, 25 million people live in that. So I hope that more Sri Lankan companies, more Sri Lankan, the government sector, all of us as people have priorities given for environment and sustainability. But it's fast catching up in Sri Lanka as well.